See, for me, a lot of the times, I look at people's behavior, and that, more times than not, shows me their philosophy's worth. In the case of the vast majority of theists I've come in contact with and had conversations about their faith or their philosophy with, at a certain point in the conversation, they tend to get very belligerent. Some of them start off cool, but then as the conversation goes further, they get more and more belligerent. And all I'm doing is asking questions. They seem to have an emotional attachment to ideas and concepts that they cannot prove with any empirical data. So when someone like me comes along with a healthy dose of skepticism, I start asking questions. I start trying to pull that veil aside. They get upset. And I don't know if they're getting upset because they don't have the answers, or they have this feeling that they have to defend their deity. I'm not asking you to defend your deity. I'm asking you questions about your idea of what your deity is and what your deity wants. But I gotta tell you, when I hear theists get all hissy and upset when you start asking them questions, I really start to examine for real and really look at their philosophy. And I'm saying that if your philosophy can't keep you emotionally balanced enough to answer a few questions from someone who genuinely does not understand your reasoning on some of this stuff. Because let me tell you something. You guys think you got the market cornered on having a crisis in your life, of going through stages where you were looking to find yourself or find some deeper meaning in life. You guys think you're the only ones that did that. The difference between most atheists, most theists, is that the atheists at some point stepped outside of that box that they were placed in by their parents and by society as a whole. We live in a society where I would say 90% and maybe more of the population believe in some sort of deity and follow some sort of religious practice. So for atheists and agnostics to a degree, such as myself, to step back from it and step back from all the conditioning and say, wait a minute, the only true knowledge that I really have is the fact that I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. All I know is what was told to me. And maybe I shouldn't be just so quick to accept that without questioning. So we start questioning. A lot of times when we question, we find out certain things that just don't make sense. We find out certain things that are inconsistent. So, because of the way our mind works, we refuse to ignore those little nagging doubts. We refuse to sit up there and just say, oh, well, it's the devil that's causing me to doubt these things, or some other convoluted reasoning that somehow processes in their way of thinking every time they get these doubts. We didn't do that. We listened to the doubts and we asked questions about the things that just did not make sense or things that just didn't sound plausible. So, in closing, if I come onto one of your videos, comment on your videos, and I watch your video and I comment on it, I'm not commenting on it to attack you. That's not what this is about. At least not from my end. I'm commenting on it and I'm asking you a question because I really want to know where this reasoning comes from that you have. I really want to know. And when I hear you get belligerent, when I read responses back that are belligerent, for me, It just goes to show your philosophy's worth.